I am Dr. S. Sendil Kumar, and I will be presenting a topic on basic principles of cesarean section in sheep and goats. Selection of case. So, if the patient, if your clinical examination and if your physical examination is convincing, and if the patient is fit for the major surgical intervention of cesarean section, definitely the case can be selected and you can subject the patient to deliver the fetus through cesarean section. And always stabilize the patient, because by the time it is presented for cesarean section, maybe the patient would have been exhausted due to manipulation, due to intervention, so many interventions by the owner, by the quacks, by the fellow veterinarians. So naturally, these animals has to be stabilized before the surgery. And pain management should be given the top priority. So preemptive analgesia can be given. If the patient is going to be operated, or imagine if the patient is going to deliver a fetus, within 48 hours, if you are going to give non-steroidal anti-inflammatory, especially meloxicam, it will interfere with the parturition process. The pain management, preemptive analgesic administration is going to be beneficial rather than having a defect on the delivery. So definitely non-steroidal anti-inflammatories can be given to manage pain associated with dystocia or even with the normal routine parturition. Maybe opioids may cross placental barrier, it may cause fetal depression, but non-steroidal anti-inflammatories do not have this property, and non-steroidal anti-inflammatories can be given. And all cesarean cases should be ensured of asepsis, because the manipulated uterus may harbor septic material or may pose a threat for developing peritonitis. So aseptic precautions has to be taken, and asepsis should be given due consideration, and the patient should be on antibiotic coverage. Preferably pre-operative antibiotic administration will prevent sepsis formation leading to peritonitis or other complications. So surgical approach selection, it can be either on left side or right side, depending on the surgeon's preference. It can be a low oblique, or it can be a ventral low oblique, ventrolateral, paramedian, or ventral midline. So the approach varies from surgeon to surgeon. And in dystocia, the muscle layers are so thin that you don't dissect in 3 layers as we do in large animal practice, especially when laparotomy is done on left flank for rheumatomy or right flank for intestinal exploration. So in large animals, especially upper flank laparotomy, we will go for muscle separation in 3 layers, whereas that is not possible, especially in goats with distended abdomen, especially in pregnant animals. So care should be taken while incising the muscle layer, and care should be taken to avoid the incision on the underlying visceral organ. So that is the only one precaution. You have to lift it up, and that can be achieved only when you use paravertebral block along with chemical restraint, or a inverted L block, appropriate chemical restraint, and local anesthetic technique will cause complete relaxation of the muscle. Definitely you can bring the muscles to the maximum when it is relaxed, and very conveniently you can incise the muscle layer. When it is tensed due to pain, naturally there is a risk of incising the underlying viscera. Epidural can be used, lumbosacral can be used, sacrococcygeal can be used. Always try to combine the chemical restraint protocol with the local anesthetic, so that your intervention is going to be more aesthetic, more efficient. So laparotomy, so you will have very thin layer of muscle. So care should be taken and it should be incised very gently, taking all precautions, avoiding incision over the underlying viscera. So uterine incision should be on the greater curvature, fetus should be removed, and thorough exploration of the uterus for the presence of any other fetus should be done. Before you close the uterus should be thoroughly explored for the presence of fetus, and only then it has to be closed. And uterine closure can be achieved by two-layer closure using synthetic absorbable suture, preferably inversion suture. And this varies from surgeon to surgeon. The selection of suture pattern varies from surgeon to surgeon. To have a successful outcome, do a detailed clinical examination. Arrive at a tentative diagnosis and predict the prognosis. And always try to get an informed consent for surgical intervention, because you are going to use some anesthetic protocol, and this anesthetic protocol is going to carry an risk. So that has to be informed to the owner, and a consent should be obtained before you administer any anesthetic to the patient. And pre-operative preparation and stabilization of the patient, especially fluid correction and acid-base correction. Asepsis, simple aseptic precautions will definitely improve the successful outcome. And appropriate surgical protocol. You have to select appropriate surgical protocol as per the demand, as per the need. And ensuring analgesia. The pain management has to be given due importance, and preemptive analgesia should be employed in all cases which are subjected to some painful intervention or a potentially painful intervention. And post-operative follow-up is a must. Antibiotic coverage and wound dressing will definitely have a successful outcome. So our patients are sometimes incredible. We will tell the prognosis that if both hind limbs are not affected, so we generally tell them that they may not walk, but it happens. They can adjust and they are always incredible. Thank you.